Hello and welcome to Clash of the Masterminds. I am your host SeoulStEaL, and today we're casting this PVZ on Data C. At the top right, whoever sells the red Zerg, it is Scarlett. And the bottom left, whoever sells the blue Protoss, it is GungFuBanDa. So, this is game 2 from Dreamhack between these two. Data C is a pretty good can rushing map from what I've learned. You could actually deny 3 mineral patches if the Protoss were to actually can rush. You could deny it. GungFuBanDa's sake, in their position, they could deny these 3 mineral patches if they creep the cannons up to the point where they're able to build them over here. But we're not going to get a can rush. We're going to get ourselves a standard gateway opener, and not sure what Banda has got in store for Scarlett in this game here. Again, this is the replay pack from Dreamhack Atlanta 2022. So for those of you who may have missed these games when they were live, you're going to see them here being recasted by me. And Scarlett's going to come over here and actually proxy hatch GungFuBanDa in their natural. And this is going to delay Banda by quite a long time. And it's actually going to throw their build off completely, because they could just take a Nexus elsewhere, but it's just not going to be the same. They're not going to have the safety of having the Nexus behind the wall. We do have that Zealot being chrono boosted out that try to deny this, try to stop this proxy hatch, but the damage has already been done, and Scarlett is behind this, getting them their own tech up, getting their spawning pool, getting their gas, and Banda over here getting denied even longer with this Evo chamber. And the drone is going to go ahead and wiggle around, delay this Nexus for a little bit longer, but it does ultimately go down. And the probes do return to saturate. That second gas is way late now, so Banda is probably going to do something cheeky to recover from this. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿 like in game 1. For those of you who didn't see my first replay cast of this series, I did say that there's quite a few of these games I did not see when they were live myself, and this series is one of them, so I have no idea what's going to happen. I can only make assumptions, make opinions, and express opinions and make assumptions of what's going to happen. This Adept is going to go ahead and shade, get some scouting information, and not going to really see a whole lot. Just going to see that Zerg is still on Zerglings, lots of Zerglings, no tech, and Protoss is going to go ahead and get themselves a Stargate here. So this is one of the ways that Banda could get themselves back into this game. I'm sure that they're feeling, I mean, at this level, they dealt with this kind of stuff thousands of times, but it doesn't make it any less annoying to have your build disrupted by a proxy hatch. So sure, we're going to see some Oracle play and see if they can, Banda's going to see if they can get any damage done to get themselves a little bit of a lead, or, you know, try to disrupt Scarlett's own build strategies. And Scarlett over here just mining gas, minding their own business, spreading the creep, getting these lings out on the map to scout for the Protoss and try to deny any bases that Protoss is trying to get themselves. No third is spotted. Oracle is on the way for Protoss here. This Overlord is going to come into the natural and see not a whole lot, actually. Do have 3 Adepts, so that could throw Scarlett off a little bit here. We have a 4th on the way. Scarlett could make a assumption that it could be 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿 again, but in this case it's not going to be. It's just, oh no, that's not a 4th Adept. Sorry, I mistook it because I thought that Zealot looked like an Adept to me. It's just 3 Adepts over here behind the pylon wall at the 3rd, and this choke over here is really strong for Protoss here to help hold their 3rd base location, reducing the surface area. Now we have a Bane Nest with +1 melee on the way, while we have Twilight Council and more Oracles coming on out here. This third base is pretty well fortified, like I said a few moments ago. Third gas and no fourth gas yet, though, for Protoss just yet. We do have layer on the way with a bunch of Zerglings being produced. So Scarlett, I mean, I want to make the assumption right now that Scarlett is going to stick to Ling Bane for a while. They're not getting a whole, they're just now getting a second gas. So Ling Bane seems pretty reasonable to expect them to stick to for a while. In this scenario, they're just going to get a lot of units and just try to overpower the Protoss with a mass of Lings with Banes. And we do have Charge now on the way. So, Charge Lot Oracle, a pretty strong opener. Not, well, I guess you could say opener. It's kind of a just more than just that play style. +1 melee is finishing for the Zerg. So the Lings and Banes are going to be doing just a little bit more damage here to Protoss here. And this would be a timing window. This could be a timing window, but we're just seeing more drones coming on in. +2 melee now on the way. Realistically, like, I feel like Scarlett is more likely to hit once +2 is done than +1. So, and we do now have Hydras on the way. We have all the gases being taken on Scarlett's side of the map. The fourth base is not completed, so we're not going to see those gases taken just yet, but yes, we could expect Mass Ling, Bane, Hydra, and then eventually Lurker, but we'll see what happens. These Lings do get caught out in the middle of the map with Protoss, and yeah, excellent scouting information by both players. I'm sure Scarlett wishes that she had more Zerglings to just kill that Protoss army, but if Scarlett were to have engaged this army right here, these Oracles would have just cleaned up all the Zerglings. But now we have a bunch of charge lots storming forward, and Scarlett is gonna have quite a bit of pain to deal with here, because this is a pretty scary Protoss army here. Without a massive amount, without a lot of Banelings, this is gonna be really, really hard for Scarlett to deal with. These charge lots attacking the fourth, while the rest of the Protoss army is pushing into the natural. And these Banelings are gonna go ahead and move on down into the charge lots, making okay connections, not the greatest though. And these zealots now are doing terrible damage to Scarlett's economy. 11 drones have fallen so far, and the Queens though doing excellent at helping, well, support the Zerglings. And GungFuBanDa does get cleaned up, but not without Scarlett taking immense amounts of damage, losing 13 workers in total, and Scarlett's still ahead. Well, now their Scarlett is even in the worker count to well, was even with the Protoss. This fourth base is now secured. Macro hatch in the main. Scarlett's got a lot of production in play, and yeah, Protoss is getting their own fourth base. These Oracles do spot the Lings to the south, but there's now Archons over here to push back the Zerglings. But the Banelings over here are actually getting picked off by these Oracles, but they're gonna get picked up. The Oracles themselves are gonna get picked off by the few Hydras. There's 6 Hydras over here to push back. These Zerglings and Banes are gonna move on. They're gonna make, oh no, they're gonna have to retreat. There's a lot of Banes though, but these Banes, they could end up running into the Archon phase first, but Scarlett's not likely to let that happen here. These Archons though, throwing themselves forward, wanting to make the connections, while at the same time there's a charge lot run by on Scarlett's side of the map. And these charge lots are doing some economic damage, while the main Protoss, don't really want to call it death ball. It's not really a death ball, but yeah, the Protoss main ball over here was doing some pushback. Yeah, I mean, I don't know really what to call that. It's not a death ball. It's more like a foosball because of how freaking small it was. You know, it's not really packing a punch. It's just there. But here we have more charge slots coming in from the north and from the east. But these charge slots over at the fourth base are not going to do any damage whatsoever. And these charge slots over here just spreading off, trying to not get spotted. While the main Zerg army is over at GungFu's third. And the Stasis Ward does do a really good job at catching quite a few of these Banes. And this is a pretty scary Zerg army to deal with here as the Protoss. Storms are definitely going to be playing a major factor in this defense. If Storms are not good enough, the Protoss can get overwhelmed here. And first time lands right on the Hydras. Pretty decent Storm, but not the best. And we have charge slots now. Charge slot Archon blocking the Hydras in the fourth base location. Bane's running into the shield battery, and now the main defensive structure has gone down. This is just too much for Protoss to deal with. Too much DPS here between the Hydra Concave and the Zergling count. That even though it's dwindled by quite a bit, it has done its job at keeping the charge slots away from the Hydras. And now this fourth base is likely going to fall despite the defense. And it does go down, it does get focused. We did have that, well, we didn't really have anything. I thought there was a counterattack, but I may have missed it by like a few charge slots, but I think I missed it. There was one. Doesn't look like there was, but fourth base does get replanted down. But yeah, like the main defense structure in this scenario was that shield battery to keep the Archons alive and with the overcharge, but unfortunately GungFuBanDa didn't stop the Banes from rolling right into them. And this fourth base could get sniped down again, and it does get, I'm not sure if that was canceled or if it was sniped, but Immortals and Archons tanking some of the Baneling hits. And this is a, oh, and there's a hit over here. I missed it. I was too busy focusing over here to see that there had been a little bit of an engagement over at the third, which may have been like a little bit of a Baneling hit. These charge slots pushing on forward to the north. Well, Scarlett is just mobilizing her army to try to attack from 2 points at the same time. Baneling's moving on into the third once again. Not going to make the connections that she was expecting, but doing enough of disruption to force the Protoss off the mineral line. These charge slots are attacking some drones at the same time, counterattacking Scarlett. And we have more charge slots moving around. And unfortunately, even though Scarlett's creep spread is really, really good, not enough creep spread in the east to detect this army a little bit sooner. By the time the early warning goes off, it's already at the fourth base location here, and yeah, just needs to get that creep tumor up on top of this this ramp here, which is I thought Scarlett was gonna do that, but yeah, just gotta get that creep tumor up so I get a little bit more vision. But beyond that, like Scarlett's creep spread is really, really good, and Protoss has not done anything to push it back. We do have a fleet beacon now going down for Protoss, so not enough Stargates to really say that it's for carriers or anything like that. I would say it's just for the mothership, but because the mothership would be really good right now in providing some detection once the overseers are taken care of. If anything, just to throw Zerg off a little bit and forcing a lot of overseers. This charge slot run by does get caught. Okay, we do have more Stargates going down, so we do have ourselves what looks like a carrier transition. Adding a few carriers here and there into your army as a Protoss with your storms. And we have +1 ship weapons going. And yeah, a few patrolling Hydras to deter any Warp Prism play. The upgrades, yeah, the mothership is now on the way for Protoss here. But we do have lurkers now out for Scarlett as well. And Scarlett Lingbane army wanted to push into the third, but didn't feel comfortable dealing with the Storm and the Narcon. Some of these Hydras pushing forward, and they are going to get pushed back. A few Hydras did go down. I want to say it was like 2 Hydras. But momentarily, Scarlett's going to be hitting the Protoss really, really hard here with a lot of lurkers, getting rid of almost all the Hydras and replacing them with lurkers. And not sure how Banda's going to be able to deal with this. Scarlett going to go ahead and get herself a 6th phase, while Protoss is getting themselves a 5th. And yeah, now we got ourselves a little bit of a turtly Protoss. Protoss not able to really do a whole lot in this scenario here, except push out with a few charge lots and try to find some weaknesses in the Zerg defense. The Zerg, oh wait, hold that thought here. We do have some units trying to push into the south from Scarlett's army, trying to find some poking points here in the south, but these lurkers are not going to be able to get up the ramp that easily. And now the carriers are here, and the mothership is here. Mothership is finally out. As some people like to call it, -400, -400. And yeah, we have 2 Zerg armies that want to push into the Protoss, but unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to find a whole lot to deal with here. Looks like Scarlett decided to mobilize all of her units to the 3rd base location instead, and is just going to siege that. The carry count is going to slowly keep creeping higher and higher as Banda is going to start trading out these charge lots and not really Archons, but trade out some of these charge lots and other gateway units like Stalkers out for more carriers. These lurkers are doing tremendous amounts of damage to the ground army, but the air army is actually pretty sizable now. 4 carriers and the mothership. And Scarlett doesn't really have a really good response to this. Has a lot of lurkers, but not a whole lot of anti-air just yet. We do have Double Spire and Corruptors being produced, but not sure if that's going to be enough. We have charge lots now pushing into the 4th base location for Scarlett. Scarlett does spot it, but the main Protoss Death Ball is going to go ahead and deny this 7th base here. These charge lots do get pushed back by some opposition, but this 7th base is going to go down to... Ooh, nice Viper. Viper did make a presence here. I didn't even realize that Vipers had already been out on the map. 2 yoinks, though, to not even kill the carrier. Oh, no, the carrier does finally go down. I was going to say, 2 yoinks for no kill is really, really unfortunate. And now we have the Warp Prism coming on in. These Hydras are still on patrol, still going to deny this Warp Prism play. Excellent choice by Scarlett to keep those Hydras there. There's some Zergs that would have pulled that back by now. Scarlett doing a good job at keeping those Hydras there, not F2ing, as some people would just call it. And I didn't even realize, but we have DTs here on the map, just waiting for their opportunity to strike. And we have some Void Rays now being produced by Protoss here. Nope, the DTs did find their opportunity now. They're going to go ahead and try to snipe this space, and they may not find that chance. Yeah, they're going to get cleaned up here. While Protoss at the same time is going to go ahead and push with their main Death Ball. This is truly a Death Ball now. We got some Archons and Carriers and Mortals, and oh my, so much Protoss. So much high-tech Protoss. Storm's going to go ahead and attack some of the Hydras, but some of these High Templars do go down. That's really unfortunate for a Bandit there. Really doesn't want to lose Hydras that... sorry, not Hydras. Doesn't really want to lose High Templars that easily. Now Scarlett's starting up her her spore colony, her spore farm, and yeah, spores, spines, and lurkers for defense. And I think that Scarlett's opportunity to do damage has been properly dealt with by Banda, and now unfortunately right now there's just a lot of everything, for a lot of Zerg that Protoss has to deal with. All that Scarlett's got to do is 2 yoinks to kill that carrier, sorry, not carrier, kill that mothership, and the meme dream lives on as minus 400, but it's not gonna happen just yet. Not really an opportunity to, or not really a need to do it just yet, I guess, for Scarlett. These Charizards are gonna find some damage, possibly. No, they don't even get the spine crawler down. Yikes. But 5 drones do go down, which is not a big deal in this scenario here. I would say Scarlett's got a massive bank, and oh no, Scarlett's actually gonna lose quite a bit of her army. Oh, but that mothership gonna get picked. Yep, does get picked off. The recall does not save the mothership, and now a bunch of these carriers and High Templars are now basically naked without their cloak. Scarlett getting a few yoinks on these carriers and getting some pretty good damage done. Scarlett's playing this very patiently, keeping her army back, not just trying to go and pounce on this army and lose everything all at once. This death ball, it may have been, it's not the size of the death ball, it's about how much of a punch it packs. And this death ball, here we go, as I was trying to make a stupid joke, Scarlett pushes on in with everything. Zerglings, Hydras, Lurkers, Corruptors, everything, pouncing and killing this carrier Archon death fleet, and it's gonna get completely cleaned up here, and Scarlett executing that really, really well. Oh, look, these changelings over here are gonna time out on I like how, wow, that engagement is really good, but these changelings over here are being wasted. But yeah, that execution there, that defense by Scarlett was executed quite well. It was really good defense by Scarlett. And unfortunately for Protoss, unlike Zerg that can remax very quickly, which is the power of the Zerg, Protoss cannot remax this quickly unless they have such a huge lead that they're on like, what, 7 Stargates and like 20 gateways just to remax on a bunch of random stuff. That you're not going to see that as likely. That's not as likely to happen at this level of gameplay here, unless the skill difference is just that huge between these high-level players. These Charizards are going to get a few queen kills and possibly deny this high-yield gas base here from Scarlett, but at the same time, Charizard Archon carrier army pushing on through the middle here, but Scarlett is already in position with her army. The creep tumors are gonna get cleaned up, and like I said earlier, where I said Scarlett's creep spread is doing really well, her spread is it's going all over the place, and Protoss isn't really doing anything about it. Well, Protoss is doing something about it now. So sometimes you just gotta be a little patient before something gets done. But even though that engagement was like, even though like Protoss got cleaned up, I think Banda is still in a pretty good spot despite that army getting cleaned up. Banda's got a pretty big bank now. Not a whole lot on the gas, which I feel like Banda could take this base and get the gas up. But hold that thought here. They're moving on into the 3rd base location and assaulting. This base is kind of pointless to attack, though. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's Scarlett does need to attack it in order to get rid of that layer of protection into Protoss's main, but it's also not really a necessary base to attack because it's mined out. There's these bases over here, like they're mined out. The Scarlett, the only reason why Scarlett wanted to attack this base is to get rid of one layer of protection before getting into the natural, then getting into the main and trying to attack the Protoss tech. But I feel like at that point, like, even though it seemed like Scarlett may have wanted to get to the tech, I feel like Scarlett could just do Dropper Lord play instead, because this base is completely pointless to assault. There's nothing here for Protoss to really defend. There's like GungFuBanDa could just ignore this and say, I don't need this Nexus, I don't need this. But They're gonna defend it. They're gonna try to keep it alive despite that. It's more or less just for the vision at this rate, and we do have some charge lots going into the pushing across the map. But yeah, that base is pretty pointless to attack for Scarlett. Scarlett, if Scarlett was aware about this base, well, she is. These newer bases would be the focal point, in my opinion. Charizard's gonna come over here and see a Greater Spider. Not gonna be able to do a whole lot. But yeah, these newer bases are the bigger threat here. These lurkers, they should get cleaned up. Yeah, they do get cleaned up, and but despite what I said, Scarlett is still playing this game really, really well. Has a pretty big lead, but unfortunately, Scarlett is now starting to fall behind on the base count, or starting to lose their mineral bank here. Just not a position Scarlett necessarily wants to be in, because Protoss has got the massive mineral bank, whereas Scarlett is losing hers, and needs to get more bases down. Needs to get more drones on these mineral patches before Scarlett starts running out. There's quite a bit of an imbalance here now for Scarlett's bank to be able to remax. But the longer Scarlett is able to keep her army alive, the larger the bank will get. And we have now the very rare +3/+3 air weapons and carapace for Zerg. We don't get to see it a whole lot because games either don't last that long, or Zerg just doesn't get it for such a well, ever. Just a rare set of upgrades to see unless it's at this level of gameplay. So while we have this attack going on in the middle of the map, we have these Hydras and Ultras pushing into this base, this 7th base. Is it 7? No, it's 6. It's still the 6th base. I thought that I kept on ignoring that this base wasn't taken. Protoss is pushing though with their army to defend the 6th base, but we do have Broodlords out, a few Broodlords, I believe, and this Ultra not gonna be able to clean up. And yeah, we have Broodlord Infestor making its appearance with the Lurker defense. Chargelet's gonna come on over here at the 6th base for Scarlett. And now we have a Sky Toss army. Oh, the recall to the Nexus that's right next to you. I don't know if that was intentional, but... And, oh. GungFuBanDa did clean up that base over there. That 12 o'clock base. And now Broodlords are going to besiege this 6th base for Protoss. While at the same time we have Ling Ultra heading into the 3rd. And, Scarlett is starting to overwhelm GungFuBanDa here. Even though there's now Tempest out on the map, these Ultra Lings are just proving to be quite a nuisance. But here we go. Oh, we have ourselves the clash of the big armies. Oh, no, Scarlett's repositioning herself, getting closer to the sports. Oh no, these Broodlords are gonna get caught out in the middle by themselves. But Scarlett needs to come out here and defend them. Gotta defend the Broodlords. Don't let them die for nothing. And it's kind of hard to tell what's going on, but we have storms on the Corruptors, but the Corruptors are cleaning up the Sky Toss here. Very convincingly, Scarlett is taking the air dominance. And yeah, this dogfight here between the Corruptors and the Sky Toss is just crazy. And now we have Stalker reinforcement, which is not the units that GungFuBanDa wanted to do. The main base does go down due to this charge shot warp-in at the same time. Unfortunately, Scarlett did lose her hive, did lose her capability of getting detection, well, getting overseers, that is. And now GungFuBanDa is taking a commanding lead here, I would say, clearing out some of these units, clearing out some of these bases. And Scarlett is losing a lot of her bank. Like I said, the mineral, there's quite a bit of a mineral disparity between the two players. This warp prism proving to be quite a nuisance, though. These charge lots clearing out quite a bit of tech for Scarlett here. While these spine crawlers are going to come over here and deny the 6th base location for GungFuBanDa. And remaking the spawning pool at for Scarlett. I'm sure this is the not where Scarlett was expected to see herself at this point in the game, with how strong Scarlett's army was compared to what it is her tech is now, and what she's gonna have to deal with. Still dealing with Sky Toss. Luckily, Scarlett still does have their double spire. Kind of like I was saying earlier, though. Now the main base is pretty much the only reason why Scarlett would want to maintain vision up here is to prevent future warp prisms, prevent future warp ends. Don't want to give Protoss any advantages whatsoever. But the main base is not going to be taken ever again with the hatchery. There's no strategic advantage, and now this Protoss Death Ball has returned, and it's going to have a mothership with it. And Scarlett has still an okay army, but the army sizes are fairly similar to one between the Zerg and the Protoss, fairly similar in size. But Scarlett's bank is nearly gone, nearly depleted, whereas the Protoss's GungFuBanDa still has a pretty sizable bank still. And what I would like to see is a bunch of shield batteries and cannons being put over here at this this 12 o'clock position over here, or not really 12, it's more like 10 o'clock position here, just to fortify this location for the Protoss Death Ball against the what's going to be Broodlord Infestor. Oh no, these High Templars getting caught by themselves without the protection of the mothership. One High Templar does go down, but we do have some Ultralings trying to assault this base to the at the 5 o'clock position, but does get countered. And yeah, unfortunately Scarlett, she was in the commanding lead, but then kind of lost it. But now both players are starting to lose their mineral banks as the game is heading into their 32-minute mark. The map is getting mined out here, and we do have ourselves Pongos landing on the charge lots. This base is going to get cleaned up here. This warp prism also going to get cleaned up here. That was going on at the same time, harassing the natural base location. These Broodlords were making their way down to try to save this base, but this base has been cleaned up here for Scarlett. Scarlett's base has been cleaned up, that is. I keep on seeing that and thinking it's like a warp prism, but it's just changelings that disguise as zealots. And if we look at the income, Scarlett's got a lot of mineral income coming in now, but it's only off of 2 bases. Whereas Protoss is actually not mining on any of these bases. Protoss is actually starting to run out of minerals here, running out of minerals without having any new bases to mine from. Scarlett is turning this game around to being in their favor again. Despite what I was saying earlier about how GungFuBanDa was in the commanding lead, it seems like Scarlett somehow managed to turn this around, and now she's in the lead again. She's actually able to mine off of 2 bases, and GungFuBanDa is now forced to long distance mine from this 4 o'clock position, while now Scarlett is assaulting the main base with the Broodlords, and Protoss is going to lose all of their tech in their main if they don't deal with this soon. But it looks like Protoss is actually going to go ahead and ignore it and just do a push down the 3 o'clock position, pushing forward into Zerg territory, wanting to counterattack. Banda has got to do what he can in order to deal with Scarlett. There's just not enough time to just let Scarlett do whatever they want. And we have ourselves quite a bit of Ultraling Bane here. But that's not the right counter for the Protoss army. Scarlett's third/4th base does get cleaned up here. The Broodlords coming back in. I understand that Scarlett pulled them back for the sake of in case there was a recall, because there could have been a recall from Protoss to save this base, save the tech here. But now Protoss is getting themselves a new mining base. Scarlett is still going to be ahead though. They have the mineral bank again. They could just they do have the capability of being able to remax on just a bunch of Zerglings once the gas units are cleaned up here. Stalker's not going to be able to do a whole lot versus this Zerg army. The Fungals preventing the Stalkers from blinking into the main. And okay, here's the recall. Here's the recall that we were afraid of here, but it's actually just a recall of. I actually don't know what the hell they recalled, but the base race is now commenced here. Ultras, Lings, Broodlords, everything is being thrown around. The Skytoss army is cleaning up the tech, and unfortunately, if Scarlett loses these spires, that could spell disaster for Scarlett. We do have a new Greater Spire actually being morphed in, so Scarlett keeping that tech alive despite losing the natural, losing all the tech. And yeah, Protoss over here having a very scary death ball over here. The Broodlords are cleaning up the main. And now Corruptor Viper versus the Skytoss army. Scarlett is cleaning up the Protoss bases with her ground army, while her air army is supported with infestors to try to keep this death ball away from her main base now. Even though Scarlett's new main is actually now on the left side, it's almost like as if everything's been shifted around a little bit here. And if you're wondering what I mean by that, it's just simply that we started off over here at the 2 o'clock and the 7 o'clock position. Now we're here where Scarlett's main base is. Over new main base is actually over here at the like the 10 o'clock, and we have ourselves a 3 o'clock position now for Protoss. It's just funny how the new main bases are just, but they're now actually the last bases that have minerals in at all. So, but Scarlett's got a massive freaking mineral bank, like the highest it's been. So, but despite having all these minerals, Scarlett cannot be wasteful with the minerals. If she just starts throwing them left and right, like you might expect with just a bunch of Zerglings, without taking efficient trades, Scarlett can still lose in this position here. Scarlett does not have as many hatcheries as she did before. She's down to 4 hatcheries, and so she does not have the remaxing capabilities that she once had. But same with the Protoss. Protoss lost a lot of tech, has to remake a cybernetics core at the 37-minute mark. So quite an intense game, making multiple Stargates to try to rebuild that Skytoss infrastructure. But I'm not sure how much longer GungFuBanDa has left. Viper does get feedback, and unfortunately, Scarlett's looking for an opportunity to yoink the mothership, because this mothership is just causing too much of a hassle, needing too many overseers to oh, hold on, ignore that. Ultra Ling gonna go ahead and clear out this high yield gas base, and Scarlett does not want Protoss to have any high yield gas bases. The last thing you want is your Protoss opponent to have the opportunity to be able to remax this high gas army. But what I was saying is that, like, getting rid of this mothership is essential in trying to remove the necessity of having a ton of overseers to counter this army here, because that's all the mothership is good for in this position, just to create a cloak field, keep the army cloaked, blanketed from just easy counterattacks. Scarlett's coming on in and gonna go ahead and clean up some of this production. And unfortunately for GungFuBanDa here, that's any loss at this point is a heavy loss. Losing a Stargate at this point in the game with how little of a bank that they have, it's just not ideal for Banda here. Does not want to be losing production at all. Even gateways, like losing too many gateways with the little bit of minerals that they have left to mine from, definitely not ideal. And if we look at the resources lost, Paros is actually in the lead of losing the most resources, which is not what you were probably expecting me to say. Scarlett's in the lead in efficiency, basically. Anyway, ooh, nice pick of the Void Ray there. But yeah, like Paros has lost way more in the resources, not in the units count, but the resources. They've lost a lot of high-tech units throughout this game, and Scarlett's looking for that opportunity to yoink and snipe that mothership. Yeah, I'm just looking throughout the map. The space does go down. Another Stargate is going to go down, and unfortunately for GungFuBanDa here, just not what he wants to have happen right now. Losing 2 Stargates is I mean, this base he could lose. They could lose. Really, doesn't offer anything more than like what 10 supply. But yeah, actually, GungFuBanDa is supply loss. Remaking Stargates, definitely not what they want to be doing. Losing gas basically every single Stargate that does go down. The Nexus they don't want to lose just simply because it does offer supply, it does offer vision in that range, and once again the map is getting completely covered in creep. I know I kind of I'm kind of switching by focal points because I just realized the entire map is covered in creep again, just like how it was earlier on, like in the first half of the game, or the first quarter of the game, I should say. At this point, the game is like 42 minutes long. It's insane. And yeah, we have spore colonies being moved to the Protoss front here, and that mothership does get yoinked and does go down. That's minus 400 once again. That's the second mothership, I believe. Second or third mothership that's gone down. Third mothership. So that is crazy. Mothership proving to be one of the most useless units in this Protoss army, unfortunately, but it's also essential just to keep your army from just being constantly exposed to. And now Scarlett looking in here, looking to strike once again, looking for that yoink, looking for that abduct on the carrier. Desperately wants to kill off this death ball, this Protoss death ball. Scarlett has a I keep on bringing it up, but it is a massive bank, lots and lots of minerals. But both players are content with not being forced to engage. Scarlett wants Protoss to move out because Scarlett wants Protoss to move away from the safety of their shield batteries, the safety of their cannons. Really wants Protoss to come out and into the open field where Scarlett can have a concave. But GungFuBanDa does not want to leave the safety net of their shield batteries. And we do have some probes and zealots moving across to counterattack. Banda is maxed. Unfortunately, some of these charge slots are going into bases that used to have structures, but they don't anymore. There's no reason for them to have structures there anymore when they're mined out. Ultra's gonna come on in over here and clean up some of these static defense structures, and this Nexus, one of the few mining bases, even though there's not a whole lot of minerals left over here, it is gonna go down. That Nexus was, unfortunately, I would say, still important to keep. And we have a probes attacking a hive. Chargelet's gonna come on to try to attack the hive, but the Zerglings are gonna catch this small little attack force. And now the Protoss death ball finally moving out from the safety of their shield battery home, clearing out the creep tumors. Doesn't want... Oh, wait, no, sorry. The little bit of a hiccup there with my mouse cursor, but without moving away from the safety of the shield batteries, I think 𝙀𝙀a, what would be good, it might call me crazy, but I feel like just creeping forward, kind of like how Scarlett is creeping forward with the spores. I think 𝙀𝙀a should creep forward with shield batteries, kind of like what Protoss would do versus Terran, where you're making like shield batteries in the middle of the map with maybe some cannons to help defend them, but you're keeping your army mainly by those shield batteries, and you just keep crawling forward until you eventually get to the Zerg's main base, like close to the main base, just outside of it, where you feel like you can besiege upon. But unfortunately, 𝙀𝙀a does not have as massive of a bank as Scarlett does, so cannot really afford to lose too much here, but also cannot afford to just sit back and let Scarlett get these little picks here and there. So 𝙀𝙀a's got to make a choice here soon, and Scarlett has been exchanging some of her units out for more corruptors because the main part of this army is air. So yeah, 𝙀𝙀a really needs to be doing something. They don't know where to really go and engage in from, but they got to make a choice here soon. Both players looking for an opportunity. Well, Scarlett's the one that's making the opportunity, looking for an opportunity to attack. And that's interesting. Taking down that structure, then backing off. I was gonna say that's interesting that the stasis ward didn't get killed. Just because I thought that there was a detector with the 𝙀𝙓𝙋𝘼𝙉𝘿. But there wasn't, so the stasis ward didn't get cleaned up. And this DT was spotted by Scarlett. Not gonna get any damage then there. 𝙀𝙀a just trying to hold off as long as they can, trying to wait for the upgrades to finish, waiting for +3 air armors to finish. I guess before that they go ahead, move on out and attack. I feel like whenever Protoss gives Zerg this much time to defend and gives Zerg this much time to find points to get little victories here and there, I mean, it's just that you're giving Zerg too much opportunities to find weak points to get little victories. Like this is a victory right here, just taking on a robo, because no more robo units for a while, if at all. Like if you're gonna make the gas, spend the gas to get a new robo, I mean, you don't have any more gas. The gas is completely mined out on almost completely mined out on the Protoss side of the map. Zerg is mined out on their side with the gas as well. Like both players, like this is it. Like these armies, these are the last few units that you're gonna be seeing. Like, I mean, yeah, they have banks, but this is the last of the production. Oh, well, 𝙀𝙀a did go ahead and remake that robo, which if had a little bit more, made a little bit more of a presence, probably would have prevented that. Not entirely sure though. I mean, in hindsight, it's easier to say that now, but than being in the game when it's happening. But I'm just a fan of being more aggressive to not give Zerg these little opportunities to find points to attack. But this is what 𝙀𝙀a feels like they need to do in order to try to stay in this game, try not to lose it. Warp Prism coming over here to be a little annoying, but yeah, gonna get pushed off. and now is gonna freely oversaturate the gas because long distance gas mining now. And 𝙀𝙀 is mined out of gas, like essentially out of gas. Having the long distance mine, you may as well just be out of gas. Coming down to the wire here, like there's 600 gas there, 700 gas there, so not a whole lot left to play with here. Not gonna be able to remax a whole lot of Sky Toss, so 𝙀𝙀 needs to be doing something with his army. Scarlett has got a much larger gas bank that even after the gas mined out for 𝙀𝙀 does have a much larger gas bank than 𝙀𝙀 does. And 2 Tempests do get cleaned up here right off the bat. I feel like this would be a good opportunity to start getting like a few warp gates and making a bunch of charge locks, because most of Scarlett's army is the air. So if you can clean up the Broodlords, clean up as much of the Corruptors as you can with what you have, this would be an ideal opportunity for 𝙀𝙀 to just do a charge lock reinforce. But I'm not entirely sure how well that would do either. This is a pretty tough decision, tough situation for 𝙀𝙀 here. Scarlett though getting picks left and right, and 𝙀𝙀 not being able to capitalize on anything. There's just too many spore colonies. I feel like 𝙀𝙀 could just go ahead and ignore all these structures though. 𝙀𝙀 could actually move their army all the way over here and go straight to the hive and just leave this colony in the middle, ignore it for a while. But 𝙀𝙀 is going to go ahead and try to clear out these creep tumors on the western side. But Scarlett going to go ahead and counterattack at the same time here. 2 High Templars are out by themselves. They're going to get picked off here. And we have more High Templars on the way. We have the main Protoss army not moving just yet. Okay, they're moving now. But yeah, the main Zerg army is holding position over the spore colony here. And yeah, I don't think 𝙀𝙀 I don't think they realized that they could just avoid this colony altogether. There's almost all the spores are right here in the middle. If 𝙀𝙀 were to go ahead and just attack elsewhere, they could have an opportunity to strike without the static defense helping Scarlett out. If anything, okay, 𝙀𝙀 is finally doing what I was saying that I feel like he could be doing, and that is making shield batteries and cannons, but it's a little bit late, and definitely needs to clear out more of these creep tumors out from Scarlett. Scarlett's getting that creep spread going once again. Scarlett doing an excellent job at keeping the creep spread going throughout the entirety of the game, keeping that map presence. And okay, 𝙀𝙀's gonna go ahead and clear out some of these creep tumors, but is gonna lose several void rays in the process, and 𝙀𝙀 is starting to run dry of their income. They cannot afford to lose these air units freely like that. One of the 2 High Templars did go down, unfortunately, and yeah, this is both armies very I want to say fragile to play with here, because I mean Corruptors are very tanky, right? But everything else that Zerg kind of has is fragile, kind of weak. I mean, sure, we could say the Ultras are pretty tanky versus the army comp that Protoss has got right now. Protoss feels like their army surprisingly feels like paper. Like their army feels like paper in this scenario. That's why it's so hard for GungFuBanDa to want to move out, because they just get one shot. Yeah, Scarlett's doing a good job at, even though like 𝙀𝙀 cleared out the creep tumors that were in these positions right over here, still managed to keep the creep tumors, like replant creep tumors and get them back up while 𝙀𝙀 was attacking them. It's kind of remarkable. We got more Lings and several of the Ultras going to counterattack. 𝙀𝙀 not gonna see this until now. And Scarlett actually has absolutely 0 workers now versus 𝙀𝙀's 24 worker count. 9 workers do fall, and at this point workers are not as important. It's more about the tech, and at this rate the Stargate, 𝙀𝙀 still cannot afford to be losing the Stargates, then does lose yet another Stargate. And unfortunately, like I said, 𝙀𝙀's attack here was this forward position over here is a little bit too late. I feel like that they could have done it much earlier when they had more of a map presence, and had a much larger bank than what they have now. Both players are completely mined out. The map is cleaned up of minerals and gas for the most part. Just a few bits of gas here and there, like 30 gas, 40 gas here. So this map is about to be completely mined out, and whatever the players have got, that's it. So 𝙀𝙀 cannot afford to lose any more units. If we look at the resources lost, 𝙀𝙀 has lost 84,000 resources worth of units versus 72,000 of Scarlett. And at some point here, the production tab is going to be completely pointless to look at, so we're going to keep it on the resources lost here. Because production-wise, I mean, we're not going to really see a whole lot of production as long as these army supplies don't change. The last of the High Templars warping in, I would say. And the creep is starting to be pushed back, which is good. 𝙀𝙀 really needs to keep pushing forward with these shield batteries, though. They don't have a whole lot of minerals left, so remaxing capabilities are completely out the window. I feel like at this point, though, being able to push forward with more shield batteries would probably be more essential. But then again, if you're getting one shot by these corruptors, do shield batteries really matter at that point? Probably not. Lots of Zerglings going to go in for a counterattack here momentarily while this Protoss army is pushing forward. Hopefully these Zerglings don't get caught by the Sky Toss army here. And my gosh. Alright, and these get Scarlett really looks like that she wants to push forward. She really wants to get that mothership. These Zerglings do get deterred. You get pushed back. Looking for that yoink, and then Scarlett is gonna get that yoink. Mothership instantly goes down, and GungFuBanDa has lost his cloak. And yep, definitely not gonna be able to get another mothership. Oh no, making one more mothership. The last gas unit is gonna be a mothership. We're now approaching the 1 hour mark here, and the map is completely mined out. There's no more use of these probes. 𝙀𝙀 is down to 1,000 minerals. 𝙀𝙀 needs to bring all the probes with them and just go. There's just no more waiting, no more stalling. There's nothing else you can do. You're just any and every little bit of damage that you're gonna take, it's permanent. There's nothing you can do to stop the damage from happening. And yeah, even though Scarlett's mined out completely as well, Scarlett has got a much larger bank to still play with here. And that Oracle going down, huge, massive, way too much damage there. There's really not a whole lot to talk about here because it's basically the dancing of the Corruptor Spores versus the dancing of the Carrier's Tempest. So neither player has decided to engage each other. They're about to clash in the middle. Every single time it looks like they're about to clash, that they don't. 𝙀𝙀 wants Scarlett to come into his attack, and vice versa. Scarlett wants 𝙀𝙀 to attack her. And it's just... neither player feels comfortable moving out against each other. They don't want to just lose units freely. They don't want to throw the game because this is a very important series for both players. So neither one of them want to take the chances of potentially throwing the game. But 𝙀𝙀 looks like they're gonna go ahead and push on out. They're gonna go ahead and try to do what they can. Tempest doing bonus damage versus those spore colonies. Pushing forward against these creep tumors. There's just a lot of creep tumors still. It's gonna take a while for them to get cleaned up here. And it looks like we're gonna get ourselves another yoink. Oh no, excellent feedbacks on those Vipers. Well done. And I feel like 𝙀𝙀 might feel comfortable with pushing forward now with those Vipers getting feedback and the energy being depleted. Oh no, they don't feel comfortable enough. There's just... right now, essentially, 𝙀𝙀 is just attacking energy. Because creep tumors, they don't cost any money. It's just energy. You're just clearing energy for free. Energy structures. The Spore Caller's getting a few free shots off against the Void Rays. Scarlett staying on top of these players here. Or staying on top of the creep spread, I mean. Just 8 creep tumors are being produced. This is why, like, the production tab is unfortunately now completely useless here. So the resources lost is now where it matters. The excellent fungal on those Tempest. They do get recalled though. And yeah. This is now the ideal time for Scarlett to attack. They could take out these carriers. Yoink the carrier and the mothership without Tempest sieging on the Vipers here, but opportunities missed that could have taken advantage of. Unfortunately now, Scarlett loses a few Vipers. But Scarlett doesn't feel comfortable. Well, not comfortable. Doesn't feel inclined to remake them, I guess. Nope. And Scarlett does do a decent counterattack, killing 13 probes, but the probes, like I said, are completely pointless now. Because the map is completely mined out. These lings are doing a tremendous amount of damage now. And the reason why I say that is because, like I said, since the map is now mined out, structures are that much more valuable. Every structure you have, everything that you lose is now permanent damage. So, if you just are starting to lose stuff left and right that you don't want to lose, well, it's too bad. You're stuck losing it. And now, GungFuBanDa gonna go ahead and make the... gonna take the initiative, looks like. Gonna go ahead and... well, maybe not. Gonna just keep attacking creep tumors. Feedback on the Infestor. Unfortunately, Scarlett is not gonna bother remaking units. Doesn't need to remake units. Doesn't need a maxed army like against GungFuBanDa here. has the capability of getting whatever units that she wants, but doesn't want to just get units for the sake of having them. You can see in the production tab, still not remaking the units that she's losing. Keeping things simple. Has a strong army, doesn't need to remake just yet. I would say Scarlett feels very confident in her capabilities of clearing out the Protoss here with what she's got. Doesn't need to make any more units. Wants to keep that larva for remaxing once the Protoss army is dealt with, I would say, but these High Templars are moving forward, trying to find more units to pick off, more energy-based units to pick off. Would be great to get them on the queens, if the queens would ever step out in the map, but that's not going to happen anytime soon, I would say. Are we gonna finally have? Nope, not gonna have a clash just yet. Scarlett does lose a Viper or two right there, unfortunately. Still not remaking the few units that she loses, like the few Vipers. But the bank has gone down a little bit, so maybe maybe Scarlett did, and I just missed it. It's not a big deal though. Yeah, this is the unfortunate bit of this scenario here, is that these players don't feel like just taking the risk at just going in after each other at this point. Like I said earlier, it's because this game is too important for them to want to just step out and attack. But this is unfortunately a very slow process here. And even though I could fast forward, I don't feel like... I feel like if I did it now, it's gonna end as soon as I do it. GungFuBanDa finally moving out of his safety net. Now this is the opportunity Scarlett is looking for. And the yoink on the last mothership, and the last mothership does go down. GungFuBanDa, are you gonna just go back home? Yep, he's just gonna go right back to the shield battery. And I don't even know why the battle report came up. I don't even know what I hit to do that. Uh-oh. Hold on, I don't know how I can get rid of this. What the hell did I hit for the battle? I don't remember hitting shit. Oh. Okay, well, apparently me backing out got rid, not backing out, but apparently hitting back got rid of the battle report. I don't even know how I activated it. Anyway, that's taken care of, and Scarlett finally gonna go ahead and gain some of the, quite a bit more of the map presence, just because the mothership, the last mothership, has been destroyed. These shield batteries and cannons are still going to be a little bit of a nuisance to deal with, but the air army, as far as Scarlett's concerned, completely going to be taken care of here momentarily. No more mothership, no more cloak field for Protoss. Everything is out in the open. They just need to go. It's got to go and attack. Just stalling for an hour ain't going to do anything for you, ain't going to help you at all, except help Scarlett get a better army in the long run. GungFuBanDa pushing forward finally, and so these 4 crawlers are gonna go down, but unfortunately storms are not making the connections they need to, and the air army for Scarlett staying out of sight, staying out of the range of the storms. Excellent fungals on the entire Protoss army, and now GungFuBanDa is gonna get cleaned up here. Just too much damage here. Get max upgrades versus max upgrades for everything. Just too many corruptors to deal with, and GG, GungFuBanDa is out. Scarlett takes the game. This was a long one. I will say though that GungFuBanDa could have done this way earlier. They just kept on stalling way too long. They gave Scarlett too much time to get the perfect army that she wanted and get the spores out that she needed, and it's really unfortunate because I felt like GungFuBanDa had the opportunity at several points in this game to take it and gain more ground, but they didn't capitalize on it. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this replay cast, and yeah, if you guys would like me to cast your replays, submit your replays at seoulreplays@gmail.com. That's SeOUL replays@gmail.com. Or you can join my Discord and submit your replays in the StarCraft 2 stuff section. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.
Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that video just now. If you wouldn't mind clicking that like, subscribe, and the bell notification down below, really appreciate it. Also, be sure to follow me on my Twitter and Twitch.